Okay.
Okay, Council Chambers, are you ready?
We're ready, John. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Committee. Yeah, if someone could mute, please. Thank you. So welcome to our first meeting of 2024. If I could have a mover and seconder, please, for a resolution to convene as a committee of adjustment for the January 10th, 2024 meeting.
So
Moved by
moved.
Lee. Seconded by Len. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby convenes at 4:01 p.m. on Wednesday, January the 10th, 2024. The Committee of Adjustment hereby convenes as a public meeting as per the Planning Act. Applicants, public can speak at the public meeting. When asked who wishes to speak to an application, please raise your hand, state your name and address, and direct all comments through me. Notice of decisions will be sent to applicants and to the public if requested. Only the prescribed persons as per the Planning Act may appeal a decision or condition of approval within 20 days after the decision. If I could have a mover and seconder, please, for a resolution to accept the agenda for today's meeting. I have Len moving and Lee seconding that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby approves the agenda for the January 10th, 2024 hearing. All in favor? Carried. And we are welcoming in a new Secretary Treasurer. I guess, Lauren, I think I see you. My picture is pretty small of the council table, so thank you. We are asking then for a mover and seconder for a motion to accept our new Secretary Treasurer. Moved by Webb, seconded by Greg. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby appoints Melissa Profit. Melissa, raise your hand. Everybody knows who you are, I think. Planning Technician for the Township of Seguin as the committee's Secretary Treasurer. All in favor? And carried. So, Lauren, are you staying with us or are you leaving the meeting?
I'll be staying on just as planner.
Okay, thank you. So welcome, Melissa. We are moving on to minutes. If I could have a mover and seconder, please, to accept the minutes of the last meeting. I have Lee and Len. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read and circulated the minutes of its last hearing, which took place on Wednesday, December the 13th, 2023. All in favor? And carried. I now ask the Committee of Adjustment for disclosure of any pecuniary interests with respect to today's applications. Does anyone have anything to declare? None heard. Madam Secretary, I ask you to introduce our first application for today, please.
The purpose of minor variance application A 2023-0038H HEAM is to construct additions to both the existing and enclosed porch and the covered entry attached to the dwelling, requesting an increase in lot coverage within the first 60 meters of the shoreline and maximum dwelling floor area. No formal correspondence was received.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone in attendance who wishes to speak in support of this application? Yes, go ahead, please.
Hi, members of the committee. My name is Savas Varatis. I'm from Plan Muskoka. I'm here as agent to the applicant Carla Heim, and I'm a registered professional planner. I just want to briefly, I won't keep you very long here. It's a very straightforward application. It's for a very minor increase in lot coverage of 0.7% over the presently permitted lot coverage to a total of 8.4% on the property. And as described, it's for the addition of a slightly larger covered entry on the back of the building and an increase in the width of the screen porch that's currently existing on the side of the building. So those two things combined make for an increase of 0.7% lot coverage. And there's also, just as a precautionary measure, we've also provided for an additional 37 square meters of gross floor area, which would be in exceedance of what is currently permitted on the property. So that brings it to 430 square meters. So the thing I'd say, like, that in terms of lot coverage for, especially for the screen porch, which is probably the only one that would be, visible to anybody from the lake, is that this property is fairly well vegetated along the buffer of along the shoreline, and has a well established mature buffer of trees. The area that the expanding screen porch is going into is devoid of trees right now. It has like a little landscape feature that goes down towards the shoreline, so there won't be any tree cutting involved in expanding that porch, extending that screen porch. And I think that, combined with the fact that it's be well buffered from view, and such a minor increase in lot coverage really leaves us with me with the impression that built form will not dominate natural form on this property that the official plan seeks to achieve. So I don't really have any more to add. If there's any questions from the members of the committee, I'll be doing my best to try to answer them for you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Committee members, questions, comments?
One question. At what stage
Len?
of the development does Riverstone get involved? Before anything starts, or just out of curiosity?
Len, I think you're jumping ahead one application.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, we're
Sorry
on
about
Heem
We're
at
on
the
the
moment,
we're on
so-
the porch, right?
Yeah, so hold that thought for the next one, please. Anything else on this particular application? Okay, none heard. Last call. Okay, I see no hands. I will ask for a mover and seconder, please, to bring this resolution forward. Moved by Lee, seconded by Wibb. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2023-0038-H, Heem, or Heim, I guess it is, to construct additions to both the existing enclosed porch and the covered entryway attached to the dwelling. The following variances to zoning bylaw 2006-125 are being requested. Section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline. Permitted is 7.7%, proposed is 8.4% for an increase of 0.7%. And on section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum dwelling gross floor area. Permitted is 393 square meters. We're proposing 430 square meters for a variance of 37 square meters. Subject to the following conditions, the extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted with the application, and that the owner applies for and obtains a building permit for the additions within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor?
That's very simple.
And carried. Thank you, sir. Very straightforward.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The application has now been approved, and you will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period now starts.
Very good. All right, Madam Secretary, if you could introduce next application, please.
The purpose of the permission to expand application number A-2023-0039-H, Ryan, is to demolish the existing non-conforming two-story, two-slip boathouse and construct a larger two-story, two-slip boathouse on the subject lands. A letter in support of the application was received from Vera Wilkins.
Okay, thank you. So I see we have the applicants in attendance. Would either of you like to address the committee? We have Susan Ryan and Richard Ryan. Can you hear us? Okay, last call for the applicants. We don't hear you on this end. If you could just confirm whether you wish to speak, please. Mr. Ryan? Okay, let's
Hi, can you hear me? It's Susan.
Yeah. Okay, now we
Oh.
we hear you. Yes, thank you.
Okay, unfortunately, my husband and I are not in the same location. I don't think his microphone works. Is it beneficial for us to say something? We've read the letters, we've gone through everything. The plan, we don't have anyone representing us from Muskoka Lumber. I think our submission, this is the first time I've ever done this. I don't know when my husband's thing's not working. He was the one who's supposed to speak. I don't want to jeopardize anything that we've done. I'm hopefully it's straightforward what we have proposed.
Yeah, so if there's nothing specific you wish to inform us about, then just stand by and we'll go through committee for questions in case they have something that you need to answer.
Okay, cross my fingers if I didn't miss anything. Okay, I'm right here.
Okay, yes, very good. Thank you. Committee members, questions on the application, please.
Maybe
Len,
I can address to the right project. I was just,
Yeah.
Am I okay?
Go
I
ahead,
was
Len.
wondering, this really seems like a comprehensive submission. Well, it doesn't seem like it is. I wonder how, like, for example, Fisheries and Oceans Canada, they're going to take measures to minimize harm to fish and fish habitat. They're going to review this. They're going to do all kinds of other things. How do they do it? Who does it? When does it get done? I mean, it seems to me that endangered species, including fish or threatened species, are on the tip of everybody's tongue. Just wondered how if this, the report is excellent, of course, and I just wonder how it's implemented.
Yeah, so we had a similar situation in our, I think it was the previous meeting, and I think I sort of addressed that. And I don't know, Brady, do you want to just go through that again? It's essentially the applicant's responsibility to make sure they conform to the recommendations. However, the planning department, I think, does have some input there. Brady, would you like to comment?
Yes, you're correct there. So we have implemented a condition to require the owners to enter into a minor variance agreement. So that will ensure that all the recommendations from the Riverstone report are implemented. I will note that when the applicants apply for their building permit application, the MNR, they likely will require a permit from the MNR for the boathouse as well. So the MNR will comment on it as well.
That doesn't really answer my question. What I'm asking is what measures are taken to do that? I mean, that's it says measures to protect fish should also be reviewed. So
Are-
whose measures are they? When are they reviewed and how are they reviewed? That's my question. I mean,
Are you, Len, are you reading the appendix from the Riverstone report?
I think so, yeah. Maybe. The one with the new dock, the boathouse.
Schedule A.
Riverstone, right?
Yes, so I see that that's an appendix to the Riverstone report. So
Mm.
those are guidelines for construction for the owners. So it's the owner's responsibility to ensure that those guidelines and those measures are taken place. So that will be all within the minor variance agreement that they will have to enter into. So it's the owner's responsibility to ensure that those measures are being met during construction.
So Len, I think you're asking a little more specifically, what are the measures? And if you look on page 10 of the Riverstone report, they're talking about not removing additional shoreline vegetation. They're talking about silt curtains for any of the in-water work. So I think that's
some of it, yeah.
Yeah, those are the sort of physical measures that are being proposed here.
That's
You're
fine,
correct
yeah.
there, Mr.
It's
Chair.
just that Fisheries and Ocean Canada are going to review it. And I just wondered how they do that, when they review it. Like, how do they know? There's no significant measure of how many fish are there now. It's an opinion.
So staff can't comment on their review process. We can definitely get back to you on that though, but we are unaware of how their review process works when they look at applications.
Lee? Yes, Lee?
Yeah, very comprehensive, that thing from Riverstone. At this time of year, when I got down to the boathouse, there's not much that you can see underwater. The existing boathouse, is that on cribs or is it on piles? And my other question is the demolition permit for the old one. How far down do they demolish? Do they go right to the bottom of the lake? Are they going to reuse the old foundation? Are they going to put in piles? Are they going to put in cribs? And maybe this talks to the same thing that Len is saying. Just in my mind, I was standing there on the dock wondering what was underneath me. Had no idea as to how extensive the demolition was going to be and what it was going to be replaced with. And I'm sure with everything they have here that they've given consideration to this, but that to me would be a significant impact on the fish, on the wildlife, what's going on underwater. I have no idea. Can somebody talk to that?
Lee, I'm gonna
yeah,
let the, oh, sorry, Mr.
yeah.
Chair, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't know that we have that information in the written documentation, but if Mrs. Ryan, would you be able to answer that question?
I don't know 100% the answer to that. I know that we're on cribs. We plan on using as much of the natural existing cribs that are there. I know that we were reading the report as well, and we were going to get those. I think it's called the silk, the rubber buoy things to protect. And again, of course, we want to maintain as much natural shoreline as possible. That's the most beautiful part of Muskoka. We have no intentions of changing any of that, and we're going to try and preserve as much as we can.
Oh, that answers my question. I just didn't understand what was underneath the dock and to what extent the environment under the water was to be disrupted.
Right.
And you've answered my question. If you're going to use the existing cribs, probably minimal.
Yes, hopefully, yes, that's that's what we want to do. We have no intention of disturbing what's there.
John, we have somebody in the audience, Joe Quinn. I believe he'd like to speak.
Yeah, Lee, you're satisfied with your question being answered?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yes, please go ahead.
Ooh.
Who's going ahead? Joe Quinn?
Yes, yes, that's right.
Modern technology, it's great when it works, right?
Mr. Quinn, we see you on the screen. Please go ahead.
Oh, he's talking, but no, there's no volume, right?
Yeah,
Oh, he's fixing the microphone.
no sound yet, folks.
Hi, how are you? And my name's Joe Quinn, 1020 Hunt Road, Foots Bay, Ontario, POC 1HO. I've been involved in probably 3 or 4 of these where there's some EP and a township approved environmental companies had to do a study, followed up by the M&R at permanent time. The M&R have always had a good fish study. They know what type of fish are in the area. And some of these conditions that they put on have been, they wanted to, to rework on top of cribs, or if they're driving steel to go through them with some crib removal to realign or with the new building and its PowerPoints. But the one thing that I found the M&R, one of their biggest things is telling you the time of year in which you could do the work. So if it's bass, they might say you can't do that work from May till August, or if it's lake trout, they spawn in the fall, and they might say you can't do any ground disturbance there between October 1st and December 15th. So that's where the M&R come in, and it's always worked very well in the past, and they've had a good idea from their studies from the past, and they know they put the restrictions on the people building it, and it's enforced.
And just to add to that as well, so the applicants would be required to get a permit from the M&R during their building permit process. So the M&R would have stipulations on that permit as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Quinn, for that information, and Brady for the follow-up. Anything else from committee?
The only comment I was going to make was this part of the process is just in regards to the minor variance. And with the M&R being involved in the permit process, that would include them also in the demolition process as part of it, because the demolition permit is tied to the building permit. So all of the protections that would need to be put in place would be part of the conditions established not only in regards to the variance, but by the M&R at the point when, if the variance is approved and the applicant is able to move forward with a building permit, those conditions would be not only on the building permit, but also tied to the demolition permit as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from committee or anyone else? Okay, Mrs. Ryan, anything else from your side before we call for the vote?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Okay, then I will ask for a mover and seconder, please, to bring this application forward for consideration. Lee and Greg. So moved by Lee, seconded by Greg, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves permission to expand application A-2023-0039-H to demolish the existing two-story two-slip boathouse and construct a new two-story two-slip boathouse on the subject lands. The following permissions are required. Section 4.28.6, boathouses in EP zones, generally not permitted. Proposed is a two-story two-slip boathouse. There is one existing. So the permission is for a two-story two-slip boathouse. Section 4.28J, table 4.4, maximum boathouse width permitted is 11 meters. We're proposing 11.9 meters, and that is existing as well. For a expansion or permission for 0.9 meters, same as existing. Section 4.28.1G, maximum boathouse height permitted is 6.7 meters, proposed is 6.87 meters for a variance or an increase of 0.17 meters. Section 4.28.1G, maximum boathouse height, the highest main roof eave, 3.6 meters permitted. Proposed is 6.25 meters for an expansion or a permission of 2.65 meters. Section 4.28.2E, maximum cumulative dock and deck area, 168 square meters permitted. Proposed is 229.1 square meters. Existing is 240.8 square meters. So the permission is for 61.1 square meters in addition. Subject to the following conditions. The extent of the relief will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted on the application. The owner applies for and obtains the required demolition permits and building permits for the boathouse and dock within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. And that the owners execute an agreement with the municipality pursuant to section 45, subsection 9.1 of the Planning Act. And this agreement is to be registered on title to implement the recommendations contained in the fish habitat assessment prepared by Riverstone Environmental Solutions, Inc., dated March the 2nd, 2023. All in favor? And carried. So thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Ron.
The application has now been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period now starts.
Thank you very much.
All right. On to item 7 on our agenda, other business. Does anyone have any business to bring forward?
One question about non-conforming. Is that ever going to end, or does that go on forever? I mean, is there, 100 years, 75 years?
Yeah, if Brady or Lauren, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I can answer that for you, Len. So there, for non-conforming uses, there's flexibility in the Planning Act that allows the Committee of Adjustment to permit expansions to these non-conforming uses. And I think we'll probably see a lot of these over the years. In terms of your timeline question, I don't think there is a timeline on those.
Len, does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Brady. Anything else from anyone? Okay, none heard, then I will ask for a mover and seconder for the motion to adjourn, please. Moved by Lee, seconded by Greg. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adjourn this hearing at 4:30 PM on Wednesday, January the 10th, 2024. The committee will hold its next meeting at 4 PM on Wednesday, February the 14th, 2024, or at the call of the chair, unless the Secretary Treasurer has not received complete applications for committee consideration. All in favor? Okay, carried. Thanks, everyone, and have a good rest of the day.